Learn all about living in Mazatlán, Mexico from Samantha Osuna in this video interview with expats in Mexico. Other than the fact that your husband was from Mazatlán, were there any other reasons why you decided that you wanted to live there?
I love Mazatlán. I love it. You can go to the beach, the movies, and work all in the same day. Not that I do that every single day, but it's a great city. There's something here to do every day. A great thing. There's a big expat community here. Besides that, you could go walking, biking, a lot of sports activities, artsy activities. There's a theater, but there's also side stuff that doesn't have to belong with the Angela Peralta. It's a great community. It has a nice feel to it.
So it's a very large, it has been a very large expat community for quite a while, for decades, hasn't it?
Yeah, but the last 10 years, it's really gotten a lot bigger. Yeah.
And why do you think expats are choosing Mazatlán?
Why? Compared to Cabo or Vallarta or even Cancun, Mazatlán is a colonial city. But besides that, it's cheaper to live in. You still have it. Mazatlán kind of feels like a small little ranch that just kind of spread out. You still have that ranchy little small town feeling. You go to the grocery store and you run into 4 people that you know. There's over 700,000 people here now, but you still feel like you're not in a big city yet. Has a nice feel to it, and the people are pretty happy here.
Where do most of the expats live?
Most years ago, when I first came down here in '91, I'd say the majority would be in the El Cid community. El Cid's a residential area. They also have condominiums, timeshares. But at that time, if I'm correct, I'm pretty sure that it was the only gated community. So, there are a lot of Americans, Canadians in that area. Right now, there's more gated communities, but there's also everybody, the group that enjoys more of the history, and it's not a gated community. There's smaller houses in the centro. That's a huge community right now of expats living down there, and that's a whole different feel.
And El Cid is north of the city, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm. Well, not north. Well, it's south of the New Marina.
Okay. And from Centro, how many miles would that be, or how long would it take to get there?
Well, driving right now, Centro, if you go all along the Malecón, the boardwalk, it's 22 kilometers, pretty much from the lighthouse all the way to Valentinos. That's 22 kilometers, which is entering into the Golden Zone.
And
what
is the Golden? Explain what the Golden Zone is.
The Golden Zone is the tourist area. At that time, which a lot of the condos are going north, but that's the main central part of the action, they say, all the condominiums, the touristy area.
And what does Centro have to offer? Is that where you live in Centro?
Yeah, I live in Centro. The Centro, there's the Plaza Machado. There's a big plaza, which they have theater down there. The Olas Altas is an area, it's a beach area that has a different feel to it. There's restaurants along that, but at the Machado, the whole area, it's all lit up. It's walking. You're 3 blocks away, and there's live music pretty much every day of the week, probably Monday not. So you can just walk the Machado. You don't even need money, and you can just listen to live music. It's a nice feeling.
When you say Machado, what do you mean by Machado? What is it?
All right, it's called Plaza Machado. That's the name of it.
It's the main square of town, right?
It's the main square. They have a kiosk there, and a lot of times they have a band playing there, as well as the restaurants have their individual little bands going on.
What about culture, museums and symphonies and art galleries and so forth? Are they plentiful there in Mazatlán?
Oh, yeah, there's many, as well as the Angela Peralta Theater. That's an art school. It's a music school. They offer dancing, which my youngest daughter will be in the Nutcracker, the first and third.
Good for her.
Yeah. It's by Cubans. There's some Cubans that are the teachers there, and it's a pretty good school. There's my oldest daughter. She studied classical guitar there, finished that program. It's a great school, and they do offer operas. Carmen was just here during the Thanksgiving time. Right now we're doing the Art Fest, so there's a lot of different stuff, and it starts the end of October, middle of October until March, maybe the end of March. I'm not for sure when it ends, but there's always something going on, and you can walk the whole little town or the central part and go to different types of artsy stuff, which are museums or people's local art.
And the Mazatlán in Mazatlán is very one of the longest actually in Mexico, isn't it?
Correct. It's 22 kilometers long, and that's a great place to go walking along the actual cement part. And they're just making a new bike trail as well. So they're making the street a little wider, the sidewalk. So it's going to separate the bikers from the walkers.
And you can do a lot of walking because it's great weather year round there.
It is, and you have the ocean. It's a great view all the time.
Do you rent or did you buy a house?
I have a house, a small house.
Yeah, and it's in Centro. Describe your house a little bit. Is it like a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house, or what is it?
It's kind of a row house, I'd say, and yeah, it's a row house. 1-car garage when you first come in, and it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath. A little patio in the middle of the house, which I like, kind of off the kitchen.
Oh, that's wonderful.
There's a lot of light, and then there's the patio in the back, and there's another room back there with a bathroom, and that's where the washer and dryer is at. Mm-hmm. Kind of small but roomy.
Yeah. What do you say small? Was it? Are you talking about 1,500 square feet or so, or?
Yeah, about 15.
About 15. How much did you pay for it?
This one,
yeah.
I paid $68,000 US for it.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's a terrific deal. What's the cost of living like there?
Well, yeah. These houses right now, prices are going up right now because the historical area I'm right on the border of the historical area. So it was a good deal. Prices, you can find anything from in the Centro, 80,000, but the house could just be a dump, a fixer-upper. Up to, I know there's a house a block away from the Plaza Machado, totally redone. The house was built in the 1800s, and she's offering it's over $1 million.
Wow.
It's very nice. It's like the whole block, but it's huge.
Wow, that's terrific. In California, that would be a $20 million house.
Yeah. You can also go to residential areas, gated communities, 100,000, 150,000, brand new houses, but in a new subdivision. Or if you go a little bit outside of town, you can still find great deals.
What about rentals? If someone wanted to rent a home that was maybe 1,500 to 2,000 square feet, of course it depends, I'm sure, by location, but give us a feel for how much it would cost to rent there.
Anywhere from $600 to $1,200.
Oh, that's very reasonable for a coastal city.
Yeah, some of the, that's pretty common. And when we think the central area is getting really expensive, it's hard to find a rental near the Plaza Machado right now for under $800 US. It's fully furnished, everything, but that's a short term, like a 3-month rental. If you'd have something longer, which $800, it seems really expensive, and that's just happened in the last couple years.
Oh.
There's some condominiums out by Cerritos, nice condominiums, and they're renting for about $1,500 a month, but they're really nice.
And how big are they? I mean, how many bedrooms?
3 bedrooms, 3 baths, a good 2,400 square feet.
And they're renting for how much?
Probably about $1,500.
Okay. That's still,
That's about.
It's right on the beach.
Oh, right on the beach, yeah.
Yeah.
They're condominiums, high rises.
That's sensational. What do your utility bills look like?
Oh, my water is 80, it's usually around 79 to 81 pesos a month, which would be, well, how much would that be? I'm thinking in pesos.
Nothing.
Nothing. My electricity in the summer, which that's when it's expensive because you have all the air conditionings going. But the
Yes.
government gives you a break from, there's like 4 months that they give you a break. Um, Having the air on pretty much all day with kids, I'd say it'd be about 1,000. My highest bill was 1,300 pesos, and I about croaked. It's
1,300 pesos.
less than
So it's about 19 pesos to the dollar. So it's still pretty
100.
reasonable. Yeah,
Yeah.
about $100. When you say the government gives you a break for 4 months, what do you mean by that?
They give you, because everybody needs air conditioning. A lot of the schools, the public and government schools, they have, they have to have air conditioning. And when the summer months are coming, they're supposed to get out of school the middle of July. They never get out the middle of July because the school doesn't want to be paying the air all the time, I think. So they usually get out around the 1st of July just to save money, because that government help
Hmm.
starts in the middle of that time.
Yeah. Did your kids go to school in Mazatlán in the public schools?
No, not in the public school. They're all in private schools.
And are there several private schools in the city?
Yes, yeah. There's quite a few, and there's always more. There, there's always more. Well, recently I've noticed more, but the main school that they go, their dad went to that school. It's a Catholic school, which I'd say 90% of all the schools have Catholic. They're Catholic schools,
Hmm.
and his whole family went to that school, so that's where I put my girls.
What does it cost for tuition? I mean, is it pretty expensive or?
As you know, there's kindergarten. It's a little cheaper, and then elementary, and then high school would be the most expensive. And it would be about, for my youngest, it's 3,400, and that's
Pesos?
pesos a month.
Uh-huh. Okay.
A month. High school was a little bit more, and then that's with the full bus service.
What's your grocery bill look like?
Oh, my grocery bill? Well, because I live downtown and I eat pretty healthy, I used to be a vegetarian, so I don't eat a lot of red meat. And the fish, you can buy fresh fish, shrimp capital here.
Yeah,
Uh,
Mazatlán is a major fishing capital.
yes. So I shop for the most part at the market, unless I need, other supplies, cleaning supplies. I'll go to Sam's or Walmart, and I probably spend about 1,000 pesos a week. I don't spend a lot, but I'm aware of what I'm spending. I'm trying to save.
And that's you and the three girls?
Correct.
Wow,
I
that's
I cook
terrific.
sometimes. Yeah, but I cook. If you're going out and if you're buying, I do a lot of homemade meals, and for the most part, we don't eat meat. So
That helps.
yeah.
Are you involved in the expat community at all?
Oh yes, yeah, definitely.
So, in what regard? What do you do? Are there clubs that you belong to, or activities, or?
Yeah, I have a few different groups that I belong to. Some are kind of private that just some ladies got together and
Hmm.
did,
Hmm.
and they travel a lot, and they also do activities like lunches where that money goes towards to help the street dogs, which there's almost no street dogs here anymore. There's also called Friends Across Friends of Mexico, and that's our biggest meeting will be this month or September. Sorry, December, the second week of December. There'll be probably about 80 people, expats there, and what they do is their money goes towards their breakfast. Will go towards helping put poor kids through school, and they just individual people can do it, or the money goes together and making sure that they have the tuition and actually even feed the kids because there's some really poor places here that they don't even get a meal a day.
Sure, sure. Well, that's terrific. Um, what are the top three things that you love about Mazatlan?
Top three things. I love the Malecon. My new recent thing that I enjoy is going to the Brinster Club. It's country music. And maybe because I was raising kids for so long, I kind of got out of stuff, but now I'm kind of getting into it. And he has a country show on the beach. And actually, it's just fun to sit there and enjoy the scenery. I prefer probably the Malecon would be my favorite. Also, you can take tours outside of the city, like a half hour outside. Not tours, but you can go across the little boat across to Stone Islands, and it kind of makes you feel like you left Mazatlán, but you're really not. You're just a 5-minute boat ride away, and that's nice.
Are there areas around there that you would recommend as people, as they get around Mazatlán, would take advantage of?
Oh, I totally recommend Stone Island, the island I just told you about. There's also going north by Marmol, a small town. There's petroglyphs. I went to the spring equinox there. That was nice. That was the first time I went actually in spring, so it was kind of a big event, and I like that.
Yeah.
You can also go up in the mountains by Durango. It's 2 hours away, and you're in the pines, so that's kind of nice.
Is there very good international connections through the airport?
Well, we do have planes coming. Right now, there's more airlines coming. We do have charters during the high season, which this would be classified as the high season. In the summer, years ago, they'd have charters coming from national flights, and they don't have as many anymore. I don't know the reason. Mazatlán is picking up again. We had a kind of a session where there was a lot of violence going on. It was more hype than anything else. A lot of it, I mean, there's violence everywhere, and it was the outskirts of Mazatlán. It wasn't necessarily, there were a few things, yes. There's about 4 years there was pretty rough, and just because of all the hype, a lot of the cruise ships, all the cruise ships stopped coming, and a lot of airlines. But now we're feeling that they're coming back.
Okay. What recommendations would you give to someone who's thinking about moving to Mazatlán?
People that I meet, I also work kind of part-time at the ports. When the cruise ships come in, I work with a van tour company. So my primary job when I'm there is, of course, getting tours for them. But people always ask me, what do I recommend? Or, oh, I got to buy a house. And I go, don't rush into it. Come down here for a month, at least a month or 2 months. Because coming down for 1 week or 2 weeks in a timeshare, you just don't feel it. It's a different feel. You're in a hotel. It's better to rent a house not off the beaten track, but maybe a couple blocks. Get the feel of the city, and then see if you could handle it or like it, and then go from there.
Great advice. Samantha, thank you so much. Glad we connected.
Yeah, thank you.